What's going on, you guys, and welcome back. I'm the FPL Penguin back again with another stream for you all, discussing all things FPL, Game Week 13, the busy Christmas period, and just different things to talk about in the FPL community. And joining me tonight, this evening, on a late one, is all the way from FPL Juice, is Nick. Once again, how you doing, Nick?
Yeah, all good, Calvin. Yeah, all good, mate. Not too bad at all. Thanks for having me on again.
No worries, mate. Welcome. Glad to have you back on, Nick. But we're going to go straight into it. So we're going to be talking about, like you just mentioned, how we got on in the last game week, and we're going to be talking about Game Week 13 and the busy Christmas period, which is starting near the end of November. We'll start it now, actually, this weekend, and then we're going to have like 9 jam-packed game weeks. So are you ready for that, Nick? All those game weeks?
I mean, my favourite bit of FPL is transfers. So if I get to make them every 3 or 4 days rather than once every 2 weeks when there's international break, I'm pleased with that. I'm well up for it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to focus on my bench a bit more this year as well. So
yeah, that's something I'm kind of looking at as well, to try and strengthen and get rid of players like Williams, who are still unfortunately got my team. So yeah, so we'll get straight into it. It was an all right week, and another red arrow, down to 261k. So took a -4.
Okay.
So I brought in, I think, I mentioned it was Cancelo and Wilson. I don't know if it was on the same stream you were on. I think it was after. Yeah, I think it was after. But yeah, I brought in Cancelo and Wilson for Azpilicueta and Vardy, and I had about 5.4 million in the bank to play around with this week. I've done my transfer, but this is how I got on. Foster got all right. It feels like he got a clean sheet, even though they conceded. He got 5 points there.
Rudiger, cheeky assist.
Yeah. I mean, it was something. Rudiger's worth 14 points. So Captain Salah, I felt more safer with. It's going to be interesting. It's something to talk about. Salah going into the Christmas period. Is he going to be one where we're like, oh, it's going to be, a definite captain pick, or maybe we could look at some differential captain picks or something like who that might stand out. Who knows? Wilson was a bit disappointed in that 3-3 draw. Eddie Howe wasn't on the touchline for that due to COVID, to isolate. But they got a 3-3 draw. Tony got something in that game, thank God. But Wilson, it was all about St. Max. It was all about St. Max. I picked the wrong forwards. That's Newcastle for you, and it's FPL for you anyway. But Antonio, once again, blanking. Bench-wise, nothing really to talk about. Had Foster come in for Sanchez, because Sanchez was out for that one game week with the red card. Son, Spurs, tough game. It just looked a tough game for Leeds. But I still think Son, I'd rather have Son, like I mentioned, over Kane. I think Son can be still a good long-term pick to see how Conte does. I know Spurs lost tonight 2-1 in the Conference League. Kane did score in that game. He scored tonight.
He's going up in price tonight as well, from what I've seen.
Kane, I still not.
It seems mad to me, but
I'm not hyped with him. I can't seem to jump on that sort of. I really can't. It's something not right about it. So I just feel more safe, even though it's Spurs. Spurs just look. They're trying to get used to those tactics of Conte. They're trying to Conte's new system, and it's going to take time. And especially you've got your star striker, your Harry Kane, whose head's not in the right place, doesn't feel like scoring, so that's another dilemma for Conte as well. He's and the transfer window's not open as well. But I heard Emerson looks decent. He looks decent for Spurs. He's getting forward quite a lot and get some good crosses in. So kind of gelling in well with that system that Conte is introducing at Spurs. But yeah, nothing really to rave about. So I'm near enough at 300k. Hopefully I can turn it round. We'll quickly just swiftly move on to my team. I've done a free transfer. I'm only doing one free transfer this week. I brought in Trent. I'm probably late to the party, but I still think he's great. Long term, I've been, probably an idiot not having him, especially being a Liverpool fan. He's been doing well up front. He's been playing looking like a bloody midfielder, but then a bloody right back. Yeah, so I brought in Trent for who I put him in for now. When your mind just goes blank like that. Did. I can't bloody remember now. But Marcel, that's it. I voted for
Okay,
Marcel,
yeah.
and it was actually James from Planet FPL on a guest stream that thought get rid of Marcel first over Williams. So I've got about how much I've got 2.1 million in the bank. I've got to spend, so probably might look at bringing in REECE James. Now Chelsea fullbacks something we'll talk about very, very soon. But I am very keen on someone like REECE James. He's been a bit like Trent, getting forward a lot. I think he got a return. I think he scored, didn't he, against Juventus? Was he? Did he score? I'm not too sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just looking so good.
His heat map is ridiculous when you look at it.
Yeah.
He's just like you say, he's playing like a right winger almost. It's unbelievable.
It's I'll tell you something. I would have. That's one thing I do regret, especially with Trent, with being a Liverpool fan. I don't know. I can't remember why I took him out, but I wish I never took Trent out. I think that's you always have that regret at the end of a season, FPL during the FPL season. You think, why not have that player in? If I had that player in, I would have had those points. I would have been a higher rank. But that's FPL for you. So
yeah,
this is a team going for Salah captain. I feel more safer with it. I don't really want to take a hit. Foden's got that bit of is it an injury or an illness? Something he's got.
Yeah, they said illness. Yeah, I don't think it's an injury. I think they said an illness. So
yeah,
wait and see on that one. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, so I don't really want to take a hit again because I'll be going hit mad like I used to be last season. So I've still got Townsend in there. Tony, both teams are shaky. They're conceding goals. 50-50 in attack, but I want to see how they do. And Callum Wilson, it's going to be interesting actually. Callum Wilson against Arsenal away. Eddie Howe will hopefully be on the touchline for that. I think. Will he make a return? Isolation? Should be okay, shouldn't he?
Yeah. What do you have to do now? 14 days? Is it still?
I thought 10 days, wasn't it? 10, 12, 10. I don't know. I've lost my track. This bloody lockdown.
It's over, isn't it? It's all finished.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. What's a pandemic? But yeah, Antonio is a weird one. I know he's been a bit sloppy in form. He's still like nearly 50% owned as well, and he's not scored since game week 9. Got any returns since game week 9 against Spurs, and I kind of want to take that punt because Palace beat City at City, so I kind of want to keep him for that. So
the other thing is as well, if you look at his like ICT ranks for everything, look on the flick back to the history there. Where you can see he's first for everything for forward. Can you see that influence, creativity, work? So, like I know obviously those metrics aren't always the best for judging things, but I just feel like he's still good value for what most people brought him in for. I feel like obviously a tough game this week, but then it's kind of, starts to get easier soon. And I think, if you've got value tied up in him, I don't really want to drop him to then bring him back. And like you say, with the games coming thick and fast, we're looking at obviously Man City away this weekend. Then they got Brighton at home, which is definitely a scoreable fixture. Chelsea at home, which will obviously be tough. But then their run goes Burnley, Arsenal, and then it's Norwich, Southampton, Watford, Palace, Leeds. Like, I just think it's going to be a nice little spell to own him, to be honest. And there's not a lot of options out there that you'd consider really taking him out for.
It's just the Chelsea game in particular and the City game. But I think seeing, like I said,
Could you bench him?
For this week?
For those two games, what's your who would you play instead of him? How does your rotation kind of look?
God knows. Look at that horrible bench. I mean, Livermento's there. Livermento.
Yeah, again, tough week for this week, but after that, I mean, when Wilson's got Chelsea, Livermento has got Brighton at home. Is that right?
Wilson's got Arsenal, Norwich, and Burnley next. Livermento's got.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So when you've got
Liverpool next to Brighton,
when you've got Antonio, if you want to bench Antonio against Chelsea, you can play Livramento. Quite a nice fixture. Brighton not scoring tons of goals, are they? Could be a good good little rotation.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, but that's with 2.1 million in the bank. Maybe I could look to get REECE James in very, very soon because they've got if we just click on that Rudiger's fixtures, get a good idea. After Man United, they've got Watford, West Ham, Leeds, Everton. I'd like to jump on sort of James. Is it James bandwagon? But just to get him in. Then I know I'm pretty much late for the party, but it is something interesting to talk about. We can we'll talk about it. Actually, we'll talk a bit later actually about REECE James and Chelsea defensive assets. But we'll move on to your team, Nick. But that's how I'm lining up for this game week. Hopefully, I can probably turn things around after missing out on those big points for thingamajig. Yeah, I'll just take your thing in. Right. We've got your team here, mate. 70 points. Right, talk to your team, your plans and everything.
Not bad. So, do you know what? Obviously, same as you with Foster in goal. And it was really, again, those defenders that really come up trumps for me. Livramento aside, obviously, when I bench him, he gets 6 points every week. When I play him, the odd time I do give him a start, of course, he comes up with a 1-pointer. But Chilwell and James, obviously, it's such a shame. We were talking before we came on live, but such a shame that Chilwell's now injured for seemingly at least, it looks like the rest of this year, doesn't it? Which is quite a few game weeks. So yeah, it's a real shame he's out, but had a good run with him, and we'll definitely, when he is fit again, I'll definitely be looking to bring him back in because I can't see the way Tuchel's lined up with Chilwell and James. They're fundamental to the way that team plays now. So definitely be looking to keep an eye on him when he's fit. Trent, just him and Salah are the two that I always have in my team from day one. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but those two guys, maybe looking at it from a purely kind of neutral standpoint, they just always deliver. Even when he has an off season, it's not as bad as like last year. It wasn't a bad season. It's just we've come to expect so much. Midfield, obviously Salah captain. Exactly the same. 8 points. It's just so consistent. It's a joke. So I've seen. Do you know what? I've seen some people last week that went for Trent as a captaincy, and absolutely hold my hands up. So fair play. You deserve all of those points because if you can go against Salah at the minute, it's going to have to be something phenomenal to kind of warrant doing that. And they got it this week. If you did go with someone else like James or Chilwell even as well, got a little bit of an increase. But Salah's just nailed on for captaincy for me at the moment. And then, Son, disappointing. I've actually got rid of him. We'll come on to that in a sec. It's not like, oh, you've had one game and you're not doing well. I just feel like Spurs really look devoid of anything, really. I just think it's going to take a bit of time. I know the fixtures are good, but I just feel like it's going to take a bit of time till they get kind of going and get used to the system, as you said, under Conte. The other thing as well, I think fixtures, I'm very much form over fixtures this season. I've been bitten with bringing in Ivan Toney for the supposed good run that Brentford had, and just disappointed me. So I'm going to try and pick players that I feel are going to do something rather than just based on having supposedly easy games. Gallagher's just still doing well. Like, so impressive from him. And then up front, another just terrible week for strikers. Well, my strikers anyway. Obviously, I didn't even play Vardy. I actually had Rafinha in my starting 11, but obviously he didn't end up playing, sadly. So, yeah, Vardy came on for 2 points. Antonio 2 points. Wilson 1. Like, it's just all the points are at the back, seemingly.
So, what's your plans for Chilwell? I've noticed you got nothing in the bank. So, what are you thinking of? I mean, it's quite expensive anyway, so you'll get a good.
I've done a -12. I've got a mini wild card.
Do you know what? Mine went bloody blank. I'll just pretend that we never spoke about that.
Yeah. Before the stream. I'll tell you what. I can. I'm not locked in on this by any stretch, but I might. Shall I tweet you this photo just so you can see?
Yeah, tweet it to me. We'll get it on. I can't wait to hear this.
because it's too complicated to talk it through without looking at it.
Oh, jeez.
That's my biggest problem. Right. So in short, I've obviously Chilwell. It wasn't a -12 before I had to get Chilwell in. So, get Chilwell gone. So now I have had to move him on. But I was just sick of. I definitely wanted Son out. So here you go. So I wanted Son out. I think he's a great player, and I think he's even like great value. But I just feel like he's not. I don't know. He's just. I feel it's going to take some time. So he probably will make his way back into my team. But right now, I need to see some evidence of Spurs playing well before I show any faith in them. So it was Son out, and I brought in Bernardo. So hopefully, Bernardo Silva's been pretty much nailed. He's been playing 90 minutes, and Man City's run is fantastic. It's such a treat for all FPL managers at the minute because the teams with the best, or the three teams with the best run, is Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. So on that basis, I was kind of going into this run without any City. So I've brought in Bernardo Silva just because he's seemingly quite nailed. The funds enabled me to also do Manquillo to Cancelo. So I did get rid of Cancelo. And since I got rid of him, he's absolutely torn it up. Like, obviously, assists and clean sheets galore. Then I've also got rid of Vardy because I just think he looks like... to be fair, I had him for his really good run and he rewarded me well. But now I feel like it's off the boil a bit. Leicester just not looking great. Maybe the Brendan Rodgers stuff could unsettle them as well. So I downgraded him to Dennis, which then enabled me to do Rafinha because Leeds, again, just don't look great. And he's obviously out. But if Leeds are going to do well, it's going to be Rafinha. So obviously 2 goals. Was it back-to-back, wasn't it? Games were 9-pointers, I think, which he did really well. And I took those, but I just think now's the time to get rid. And I've brought in Sadio Mane. So, and also as well, I hate having a team that's too template. So I think having the Mane Salah double up is quite nice. It kind of adds a bit to it. And then obviously Chilwell was out, and I've done the brain dead easy move of just replacing him with Alonso. And I know there's a lot of talk about Azpilicueta possibly filling in and stuff like that. But do you know what? My bench is deep enough, I think, to kind of cope with the odd benching. If he does miss a game, I'm happy, with Livramento, and then one of those. I think I am going to play 4-5-1 every week, pretty much. Because it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like the way to kind of do it at the minute. Like, if you just look at the average point spread every single week for however long, the strikers aren't doing it. I don't know if it's a change in football in general that everyone's playing this kind of, where if you like, the striker is almost just a fulcrum for the other wide players to come and inverse wingers and stuff like that to come and score all the goals and set the goals up. But the strikers just don't seem to be doing it so much anymore. And that's why I'm keeping Antonio, because I feel like at least he's involved a bit more, and they play a bit more like a traditional striker as opposed to a Firmino type role that a lot of the others are seemingly playing now.
Yeah, it's a really
it's a lot
nice
of points
team
to take off, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just been listen to obviously what you've been saying just there, and just look at your team for -12. It's really nice long term. We know Chilwell's probably out for a good period, probably a period of time, and Alonso is obviously going to be that number 1 at left back probably now. And for the long term, -12 for this week, it's probably one of them that's going to make you feel like, oh, it's going to be one of those weeks. You'd be hoping your team hits big, and it's fun. It's a great team, but I think for long term, it's very, very good. I was considering both for Mane and Salah double up myself. I think Liverpool and Chelsea, maybe City, teams are the teams to watch at the minute. They're getting in the goals. They're going to go for the title. I think it's going to be a close title race this season. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, could be a really good one, to be fair.
Definitely,
the way it's going.
It's a really good team. So you've got yourself set up for maybe a -12 this week, but for long term, it could pay off. You know, Bernardo has been doing well. You know, we up in past streams we've been talking about Foden, but Bernardo definitely going under the radar. He's definitely been getting the points and stuff. But yeah, it's very nice long term.
Yeah, I've got 0.7 in the bank still, so I'm not sort of set on these. But I think Bernardo's just good value. 7.2 in that City team. I know he's not the most dynamic. He's not like your Fodens or Sterling if he's on form. But he just seems to crop up with those odd, you know, just those one assist here, a goal here. I think for 7.2, you take that. The other option, I suppose, if I hadn't have gone Mane, would have been Jota, of course. But again, he's. I just feel even with Firmino out, like Jota just seems a bit like, will he play? Won't he? Obviously, other injuries. Do you know who might be good? Origi, potentially. Do you know what? Especially when it gets to like African Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He could be great value. It's just whether they can create enough with those, you know, with Salah and Mane gone. It'd be interesting. Yeah,
I think with the African Cup of Nations coming up, it's definitely being a Liverpool fan for me, and how we're going to cope without both Mane and Salah is going to be very, very interesting.
My team's going to have to be completely deconstructed and rebuilt.
I don't know. I don't know how Liverpool are going to cope without Mane and Salah. I don't want this to sound like everything revolves around them, but as a Liverpool fan, I'm quite worried actually. Unless we'll dip it going straight into the transfer market and get somebody, because we basically only got Minamino, Jota, Firmino, Origi. I don't know how we're going to cope, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's going to be
players. So
yeah, I mean, you got a great squad, but like I say, with City and Chelsea the way they are, you can see them putting a bit of ground between them and Liverpool. If you are going through that period, it could go either way, couldn't it? The only thing that worried me a bit about taking Son out is that Tarkowski's suspended, isn't he now? So,
oh yeah,
Burnley are going to be. I mean, Burnley are normally pretty solid. You know, there's such. It's just. I can see Son doing now. Taking him out.
Don't say that.
I know it's like a jinx thing, and I know it has no actual relation to the real world, but I can see Son do it. The reason I took him out wasn't because I didn't think he'd do well this weekend. It's more long term. I just prefer the structure with 4 premium defenders, and I wanted to get Mane in as well. So
when did you do this team? Did you say, Nick? When did you do this team? When did you transfer wise?
Literally Sunday night.
Did you have a few beers or?
I always do. We always make the best decisions when we've had a couple of beers, right?
Yeah.
So I'd made all those transfers, and then obviously I did. To be fair, I did obviously Alonso today. I don't know.
But now, are you happy? Are you happy? Like when you're speaking to me now, like looking at this team, are you happy with that team, those transfers, with that -12? Would you say?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you change your mind.
No. Do you know what? I am, because I feel like I could have just benched Chilwell and played. Easily could have played. Whether, to be fair, I haven't really decided out of those 3 strikers who I'm going to play. So I easily could have paid 2 of those strikers, but I feel like Man United are in a bit of disarray at the moment. I know they're without a manager. You can see, can't you? You can see Chelsea tearing them apart this weekend, potentially.
I see United scoring. I don't know why, but I see them scoring.
Really? Yeah.
Just 1 goal. I see them getting that clean sheet.
Well, as long as James and Alonso both score, it'll be all right. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, they're always capable. They've got so many incredible players in, Man United. It's just whether they decide to play together or not. That's always been the problem for the last few years, isn't it? But yeah, obviously they're linking the new manager, the old Leipzig manager, with him on the interim basis now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Interim manager is always a bit of a weird one, though, I think.
We'll actually talk about this with your team on the screen as well. We'll move on to it as well. This interim manager, this Ralph fella, I'd never even heard of him. I've looked on Wikipedia, and he's managed a lot of German clubs. He's been managing clubs since the 80s. He's not really won any Bundesliga titles. He's managed Schalke, RB Leipzig, Stuttgart, under 19 Stuttgart team. He's won like Pokal Cups or something. It's like a league or FA Cup
Polish
in their country.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, the Pokal Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not convinced. It's a 6-month deal, isn't it, or something like that? I don't know. He's not going to be a permanent manager.
I mean, I don't really see the point in bringing someone fresh in as an interim manager. I was thinking at this point, if you know you're going to wait till the summer, yes, Man United ideally would love to win a trophy or a cup or something like that. But as long as you stay up, do you know what I mean? I know that for a club like Man United size, but it's almost like you must have someone, Terry... what's his name? Not Terry Phelan, Mike Phelan or whatever. Gets just someone who's part of that coaching staff, Carrick or whatever. Just let them look after it. You're not going to win this league, So what's to gain by bringing someone else in to further kind of confuse things to then reappoint someone else? And what if he does really well? Do you then say, well, people are going to say, well, you should give it to him? Yeah. I don't know. It's a really. Yeah.
I thought that out earlier. I heard that.
Exactly. I mean, he might be great, and I'm sure he sounds like a bit of a Roy Hodgson of German football, doesn't he? If he's been around that long, but I don't know. There's got to be other options out there. Surely.
They've made so many mistakes, United, keeping hold of Ollie for so long, giving chance after chance after chance. The guy should have gone a long time ago. And I was listening to a pod, I can't remember which pod it was, but I've been listening to a whole lot of pods. They're really, really good to listen to when I'm walking. But they were talking about since Ronaldo came in, it's changed everything. They're trying to work around Ronaldo. Having the team.
Can't build a team around a 36-year-old. It's not.
I feel like they've ruined it. They shouldn't have re-signed, and they should have just. They made a mistake re-signing Ronaldo. They shouldn't have done it, because what's he done in FPL? What I mean, he just had a mediocre, easy goals to score against Newcastle.
Yeah,
and his
straight through the keeper, really. But one spilled, and the other one just.
And then what's he done after that? No, not much. Yeah. And it's just fizzled out. And they made a mistake. This guy's like getting his late 30s now, and they made a mistake. And to be honest with you, I was hyped. I was thinking, oh great, everyone was. A lot of people were. Get Ronaldo in your teams, but he's not the same Ronaldo, is he?
He's good in Europe.
Yeah, good in Europe, saving their asses.
Does the job in Europe, but he's still a great player, undoubtedly. But you've got young players coming through. Look how good Greenwood's form was at the start of the season. Rashford obviously coming back as well. It's almost like you're pushing those players out who could be developing in order just to keep one aging star happy. Sancho as well. I know that he's not been great since he come, but it takes time with these things, and surely you want to invest in that. You've invested £90 million or whatever it is in this guy. Like, you'd want to. He will come good. You don't want it to be another United flop like Memphis Depay. Great player, but just didn't happen at Man United. Surely you'd rather stick with your investment and turn it round and work with him rather than just chuck him on the bench and keep playing Ronaldo for a vanity project and to sell some shirts. You would have thought.
I'm just looking at the fixtures now. I mean, from 13, 14, game week 15 onwards, like Crystal Palace. I mean, lovely run. Everyone's talking
about. They got a really
run.
nice run. Yeah.
I'm not hyped. I don't know about you. I'm not hyped on like Ronaldo or anything like that.
There's not one Man United player in my team. Not one Man United player.
I'm not hyped on these fixtures. They just.
To look at, it is literally 15 through to Man City pretty much in game week 28. That's probably the longest easy run you'll ever see. Obviously, West Ham is probably the only team in there. everything else is like ridiculously easy. I just can't. But still, like you say, it doesn't excite. It's not. There's nothing there that shows you a glimmer of kind of promise. The only thing I would say, you got 3 games now. We'll find out, won't we, if it is Ollie? But like Roy Keane always says, they're the same players that let Mourinho down. They're the same players that let Solskjaer down. Same players that let, Moyes and Van Gaal. Like it's been long enough now. Like they need to. It's not always the manager, and I feel a bit like that with Spurs as well. They seem to have a similar kind of issue at their club where Pochettino is undoubtedly one of the best managers in the world. They weren't happy with him, let him down, wanted him out, whatever. Along comes, Mourinho, proven manager. All right, not maybe as good as what he used to be, but again, there's a problem. Get another manager in. Oh, he's the problem. At some point, they've got to look at themselves and question what's going on at these clubs, I think.
We'll move on now to something we were talking about quite a few minutes ago. It's Chelsea fullback rotation. And what I mean by that is I was listening, like I said, to off air before we went on stream. I was listening to Above Average FPL, and the 2 lads on there were talking about maybe they were kind of agreeing, disagreeing with each other. If we're going to see, this is before the Chilwell injury, by the way. This is Sunday. This was posted actually just in the middle of the game week, last game week. And if Reece James and Chilwell were going to be rotated throughout that 9 Christmas period game week with Azpilicueta and Alonso, I don't know what you would have thought. I know it's hard now to think of that with Chilwell now injured. But do you think we could still see that now with Chilwell out? Do you think Reece James could be rotated a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Reece James has been injured already this season. So it wouldn't shock me if he had a bit of a rest. Azpilicueta's been weirdly quiet, in terms of his game time. I'm not really sure. He went from being the most nailed player out there in that Chelsea back 4 to all of a sudden just dropped off a cliff. And I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't, know exactly what's gone on there, but it just seemed a bit odd. But he did replace Chilwell when Chilwell got injured the other night. But I don't know if that was just a bit of an experience thing in Europe, perhaps, rather than throwing Alonso in. But you'd like to think that, obviously, Chelsea got some really nice options in defence, but thankfully, it seems to be centre back is more, where they have those options. I know that I think Callum Hudson-Odoi has played that wing back role once or twice as well. But I think now with James so on form, unless the games really pile up, I think he'd be fairly confident of starting. I mean, what would you be happy with? 4 out of 5 games?
Yeah.
Across that.
Well, it was 9. So if we say about 4 or 5 out of 9, maybe. If I was a Reece James owner, you mean?
Yeah.
I'd say I'd be happy with 6 out of 9. In fact, pushing it a bit, but 6 out of 9. I think if I was a Reece James owner, I'd expect him. I think with the form he's in as well. We know they got one more Champions League match, haven't they, in December? So they've got to squeeze that in as well. So it's like 10 games, isn't it? So
I suppose it is. Yeah. Looking at it, I mean, that real busy Christmas period. The problem is the games. The first 2 games of January are going to be Liverpool and Man City, so they might want to keep him fresh for that. Whereas you can see him being rested against one of Villa or Brighton, can't you?
It's going to be tough because it's like I mentioned to you earlier. I really would like James in my team, and it's a tough one. I am probably going to consider maybe upgrading Williams. I can do that. I think I can do that. Oh no, I think I've missed out. That's a shame, isn't it? I was thinking of doing Williams to James, but I think I've missed out with the price changes now. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Um,
6.1, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think Williams has gone down to 3.9 or something.
Ah,
So that's my own fault for keeping someone
keeping
like him.
faith.
But yeah, so I would have liked Reece James. I am still considering him, even if it's for a -4 hit during this Christmas period. I think if he gets the games, he's more likely going to get returns like a goal, an assist, bonus points. So it's going to be one of them. Just to hold you there for a minute, Nick. We've got another guest on.
Yeah, cool.
Here he is. How you doing, mate?
How are you getting on? Sorry about the rush now. I was rushing back from goal, but hopefully I didn't. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, mate. How do you pronounce your name? Apologies. Is it FPL Air?
So it's Era. So this E for the IRE. So it's Air and then so Era.
Era.
Yeah.
We had this with Ash, didn't we, mate?
Yeah.
No, it's good to have you on, mate. Yeah, if you want to send me your I've got your team ID already. I'll bring it on screen actually.
Perfect.
And you can talk us through your game week as well. So it'd be good to let me just get on the screen.
Good stuff. How are you, Nick? Anyhow, how are you keeping?
I'm all right, mate. I was just saying to Penguin that I've actually done a -12 this week. I got a bit excited on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Couple of drinks, and then before you know it, but I've got a team I'm really happy with now.
Fair.
Got my man Cancelo back in. Brought in Mane. It's all looking good. Bit of City.
You can see here I'm missing him. I'll be eyeing him up this week. I've 2 free transfers, and I think he's the man I have to bring in. Cancelo.
Stuff. 82 points though, mate. That's good going.
Yeah, I can't complain. I had a decent week last week now. As you're saying, Cancelo is the kind of main. I picked Foden over him 3 weeks ago, and I think what's that about a kind of 25-point swing, if not. Cancelo was 12, I think the week before as well, was he? But apart from that,
that's just when I dropped him.
Nice.
He did like a 1, 2, 1, dropped him, and then he just went on fire. Always the way.
Yeah, you're one of them that has got James and Trent in your team. Very, very jealous. Have you had them for a while?
Mate? Yeah, lucky enough. I brought James in for the Brentford game. I know he only came on a sub that day, but it was actually I needed that point. It was the game where there was a lot of players that weren't playing, and I got the 1 point off James that. And after that, then he kind of went on a streak. Then I was lucky enough to have him. I was actually 0.1 off Chilwell that week, but it kind of evened itself out. I know Chilwell is out for a while now, but that's the only reason I brought in James, because I was 0.1 off bringing in Chilwell. That's about what I think is 4 or 5 weeks ago now, maybe. But lucky enough, them 2 lads and Trent. Are you going to be bringing in Trent? Do you think, Calvin? Or
I brought him in. I brought him in for this week, free transfer for Marcel from Wolves.
Fair.
What are your plans going into this Christmas period? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the Christmas?
I'm looking forward to it, definitely. The kind of 10 game weeks in 40 days. It's fairly ridiculous, but this is make or break now. This kind of season, I'm sitting at 23k, and just going back to that Cancelo thing, I was inside the top 10k. Only that Cancelo got 12 points. I was knocked out a bit, but just on, because we know with the midweek games coming up as well. I think I'm going to have to probably say goodbye to Antonio this week. Just with the fixture congestion, and another playing City. Then I think it's Brighton after, and then the Chelsea after. So fair enough, Chelsea and City. I can't see him getting too many returns there. So at least it kind of paves the path for Cancelo at least. But this is the kind of hectic period, yourselves, even as kind of content creators per se, as we just say. This is our dinner, definitely. Yeah.
Who do you want to replace Antonio with?
Yeah, so I've enough to get Benteke, but I'm probably going to save myself the hardship and just probably get in. Probably just I was looking at Scarlett. I don't know whether your man Gerhardt for Leeds. I know Bamford is coming back as well, but I'm thinking, do I just go for a 4.5, kind of keep that money? But then again, I literally just said two seconds ago, this fixture congestion, so a lot of rotation coming up as well. So I might just go 5.6 for Josh King, kind of have him sitting on my bench. I'm not going to be playing him, but just if he needs be, kind of like a 2-pointer, maybe he might even grab a goal. But apart from that,
he's doing all right. He looks, the stats, he looks very, very active. Everything I've seen from him in terms of expected chances and assists and expected goals and things like that. I think he's worth 5.6 for sure.
Even just sitting on the bench. I know he's got more minutes than Dennis, surely, anyway. But anytime anyone has Dennis on the bench, he gets a goal and assist off the bench, and then he subs on the
I brought him in this week.
Did you? Yeah.
Just to facilitate other moves, but
sure.
I thought 5.2. Even if he seems to be seems to be occasionally doing something, but you can't argue with. You can't play a 5.2 striker every week. Take the rough with the smooth.
Well, see that you're a Man United fan, mate. What's your thoughts on this Ralph fella who's interim, who's meant to be close to being? What's your thoughts on it?
To be honest, I don't know a lot about him. I know was it Lokomotiv Moscow now or something, and I know he was in around with Leipzig as well. But I heard it's obviously just Twitter speculation, but apparently we're getting poached then during the summer, and he's going to go to director of football with United. But to be honest, I can't tell you much, Calvin, because I don't know much about him. But so I won't
I'm just giving Nick a bit of a Wikipedia thing about him. What he's won, he's not won. He's won now. Basically, he's managed a lot of clubs. He's a bit like Roy Hodgson. I don't know. God knows how he'll do for you. So I have to see. But yeah, we'll move on now. Anything else you want to add on your team?
No, just on that United kind of aspect. Are you eyeing up any of the players for that kind of run of fixtures from Gameweek 15 onwards? Or
I was talking to Nick about a few minutes ago, and I personally won't be looking at any. I'll bring up on the screen actually as well while I'm talking. But yeah, I know they've got like Norwich and stuff, and some other. They got a good run. Game week 15 is it? Crystal Palace, Norwich, Brentford, Brighton, Newcastle. So I don't know. Is it the Ollie effect? Was it down to Ollie? Also, I was saying to Nick, they're trying to work around Ronaldo. World-class player. He's one of the best out there. They're trying to work around him. Has he really changed things in those tactics? Is that what's messing them up, Manchester United? I don't know what your thoughts are, mate, on Ronaldo since he's
just on that. I've seen. To be honest, I'm speculating now at the moment because I haven't read much up on him. But apparently, his favorite formation is 4-4-2. So that if it is, you could probably see Rashford up beside Ronaldo. So what's Rashford? Is he 8.5 or is he touching 9 at the moment? Or
I think he's. I thought he was like 8.9 or something like that. Let me have a quick look.
Sound. That's the thing, it all depends how we kind of line up against Chelsea and Arsenal. That's kind of a good kind of takeaway.
Oh no, he's 9.4.
Jeez, okay.
That's a bit steep.
Yeah, it's a bit too much. Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's because he was injured, wasn't he? No, not enough people owned him for him to take in a drop.
Yeah, true.
Because he's just been out the whole season.
On the run of fixtures, I have Ronaldo in mind, but at the moment it's so basically I've been money in midfield. I picked Son over Kane, so if I brought in Kane, it would have been an easy route to Ronaldo. But at the moment, it's a two transfer to get Ronaldo in. So how we go over the next kind of 2 games, and then you have to kind of bear in mind as well that the fixtures are piling up. Will his minutes be managed as well? He's 36, so that's another thing as well. We've a lot of players, a lot of forward players in the squad as well, so I can see him kind of being rotated around at Christmas time as well. But that's kind of we look towards game week 13. I suppose we won't kind of plan that far ahead yet, but that's what I'm kind of thinking about the United asset at the moment.
I suppose I could. I'm just thinking ahead. Maybe Bruno might be coming back into contention, especially when we were just talking about African Cup of Nations with Salah and Mane. There's going to be some funds sloshing about in a lot of people's teams, and potentially that good run will still be going on at the time. It might be good to bring Bruno in at that point if Man United have kind of straightened up and got themselves all back on form.
Sorry, Calvin, go on. Even Sancho.
Yeah, potentially. He's got a little while to do it. When does it start? January the 9th it starts, doesn't it?
That's a good bit away, so yeah.
So yeah, there's a few games just because of how congested the fixtures are. There's a few games between now and then, but it was certainly worth keeping an eye on, mate.
I don't know if I've just mentioned. I think it was just Nick. I mentioned it too as well, mate. About the. We'll just get your opinion on it as well. Seeing that you own James. Now I did put this out. I haven't mentioned this to you since you come
Okay.
on, haven't, mate? No, I think I've got memory problems now.
You're all right. No.
I'm getting confused now. All these guests, everyone coming on. But yeah, basically with James, I was mentioned to Nick as well. And now I mentioned this now. I was actually thinking this. I was listening to Above the Average podcast, and it was on a Sunday, and it's before obviously the Chilwell injury. They were talking about maybe James and Chilwell possibly being rotated with Azpilicueta and Alonso during this Christmas period. But now that Chilwell is out for a period of time, what's your thoughts on Reece James? Do you think Reece James could be rotating that 9 game week period? And bear in mind, they have got one more Champions League match as well. So it's 10. So they'll probably have Azpilicueta might start in that. I don't know. But so they basically got like 10 matches in all competitions, I think.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on?
I was chatting to one of the lads at work about this as well. You know, we even for the Brentford game, just thinking back at that when the last time he didn't start, you've Sarr there that nobody even thinks about as well. You've Chalobah, Tuchel. He's very fond of Chalobah as well, but he's not a kind of FPL aspect per se. Is he 4.9, but you'd only kind of tying up one of your Chelsea spots in that. But just the fact that I have him at the moment now, I've had him for a while now, James. And just with the fact that he's going, what percentage owned is he there? Sorry, Calvin.
James, 29.2. 29.2.
Yeah, so he's. I suppose that could probably go up another probably 5% before Saturday's deadline with a lot of Chilwell owners probably hopping on board with him as well. But just at the moment, I think he's safe for me at the moment. Even just looking at their fixtures there now, I suppose United, I can still see them getting. To be honest, you know, we have them for their attacking returns. Never mind the clean sheets, but certainly it is a kind of the Tuchel Tombola per se. Kind of, it's always in the back of your head, but just the fact that he's the kind of it player at the moment, certainly on Twitter, it doesn't kind of faze me. You know, at least there's going to be a majority of managers anyway. If he's not starting, and that you're just going to have to kind of book it up, whatever he's fond of actually making cameos when he comes on, but I don't know. I'm happy enough as I am obviously at the moment now, and just if he keeps performing the way he is at the moment, I certainly won't be getting rid.
I'm just I was saying to Nick earlier that I could have done Reece James in this week. I'm one of them that hasn't owned Reece James at all this season.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have done him for maybe a hit, but unfortunately, I've got 2.1 million in the bank, and I could have done Williams to Reece James, but unfortunately, I missed out on the price change. So I'm 0.1, the dreaded 0.1 million.
Yeah.
So
mate.
yeah, it really hurts that. It really does.
Do you keep an eye on the price changes?
I do sometimes, but I think for the last few weeks I've just completely ignored them. Not forgotten about. I have got the app. I do get, but I've completely just let it not put my concentration to it now. I've just thought, I'll be all right and stuff. That's what you all think, don't you? You'll be all right, and then suddenly about 0.1 out.
Yeah.
I always. I mean, this is the thing for me. I hate the price increases that really bugs me if I can't make a move. I would rather do an early transfer and risk a possible injury than wait it out and then not be able to get that player.
I'm the opposite, Nick. I don't know. After the deadline, I leave the phone. After the game week ends, I leave the phone down. Especially with the Champions League games midweek. I know a lot of people got caught out with bringing Chilwell in, and it's not worth it. You know, at the end of the day, you don't get points for having team value. You get points for getting points. You know, that's the kind of way I think about it. But
for sure, yeah. I do a lot of things that don't make any sense or aren't beneficial for my team. I play it too emotionally.
Just on that, Calvin, would you be interested in Alonso?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking at Alonso now, but Chilwell owners and stuff. But kind of want Reece James. I mean, you can see on the screen now 0.1 out, and I mean I can do Livramento, but I don't want to get rid of Livramento. I mean and I was talking to Nick earlier as well. Good rotation as well. Some good games, Brighton there, Leicester, Palace. I mean he's done well. He's done well at is it right back? 1 goal, 1 assist, getting some clean sheet bonus points. I don't want to do that. I think that would be such a stupid move for me to do that. But I think I've just got to just wait and see.
I think if you've got, like say, you want to get rid of Williams, I think you need a playing bench. Like if it's coming up into this period, I think it's going to be, you could easily go three deep into your bench, especially with some of those players like Antonio and Foden, and it wouldn't be mad for you to use the third position on your bench. I do feel like Livramento's the best value you're going to get. I presume you bought him when he was like 4 million or close to.
I think I've had him for a while actually. I think I've had him since the start. I've had him since the start. Yeah,
that's what I mean. You've got too much value. You're not going to find someone else to do what he can do for that price, I don't think.
Well, I do like Gallagher. I think Gallagher's definitely Crystal Palace are in form. So maybe I've got 2.1 million in the bank. Maybe I'll look to ditch Sissoko or Townsend very, very soon and get someone like Gallagher in my team. Somebody, I don't know who it was, talking about Benteke. Benteke is a good one. He's cheaper than Wilson. He's cheaper than Jimenez. It's cheaper than Vardy. I mean, I think Benteke is a good shout as well, for that Palace.
Gallagher's going up tonight, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Yeah, I'm not winding you up. He's
I know, I believe you. That's FPL for you. So, that's a bit of the sort of dilemma I've got myself. Just going back to my team, but I'm happy. I'm going to just stick with the free transfer. I'm not going hit crazy. I don't know if you've if Nick's told you, mate, that he's taking a -12. This week, you're going to tell him what transfers you've done.
Well, I'm normally pretty. I've been making a conscious effort to not be so mental with the transfers, but there was something about this week. It just got to me, so I ended up doing them. But yeah, it was basically I took Son out to bring in Bernardo Silva. Then I took out Manquillo, but managed to bring in Cancelo. So I think long term, these are good moves.
Yeah.
Vardy out for Dennis to free up the cash to turn Rafinha into Mane. But then I had to do Chilwell out, and then brought in Alonso to replace him. Just a straightforward one. I can see Steve saying there that Jota looks like a no-brainer. Firmino out, then. Obviously, African Cup of Nations with Salah and Mane gone. I think it's. But at that point, Jota will be a great buy. But Calvin, you'll know better as a Liverpool fan. How much is Liverpool's total game going to be affected by both of those players out? Are they going to be the free scoring Liverpool we see every week, or is it kind of be a slightly? Is Matip's going to be out as well, right?
Yeah,
I know you've got Konate and Gomez
and Keita
as well.
Keita as well.
Naby Keita, yeah. So that whole team could be.
That's the thing. We were talking.
It's not
about
a given
this.
that Jota will come in and score. He might play, but it's not a given that he's going to score every game.
But I think losing Mane and Salah is such a big blow. And like I said, I don't want to think we're just that team. I mean, obviously, there are key players. Being a Liverpool fan, key players have been doing well again this season. Like I said, we've only got Origi, Jota, Firmino, and Minamino. For just players like that. We've got Harvey Elliott. When he's back, he can play there, but he's been playing in that centre mid role. But he's back in training, so he'll probably be back in God knows when, but he won't be rushed back. So we've basically got those other 4 players. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do filling in, fill the boots of those 2 key players of ours. I think that could be. It is tough because Chelsea and City, who have they got? Have they got anybody that plays?
Mendy, is it? Is Mendy gone?
Is Mendy one?
Mendy's French, isn't he?
I think Mendy's French.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Never mind.
I think they're fan. Well, lucky them, isn't it? Lucky them.
I think they're pretty much
Yeah.
good, because it always used to be for City, it was Yaya Toure, and then obviously for Chelsea, it was like Drogba and that. But
Essien and all that. Yeah.
Essien, yeah, I think now
It's
maybe
Liverpool.
they
It's
planned for the
Liverpool
future. Yeah,
that's why I think it's going to be interesting. I think this could be. Will people still want to keep Trent? Will still, if Mane and Salah are gone, will people still want to keep Trent in the teams? Would you?
Trent will be playing up front.
Well, hopefully, just imagine
It'll
that. If he does, then I'm keeping him.
Tsimikas at left back, Milner at right back, and then Robbo and Trent will become the Mane and Salah of the January. It's going to happen, mate.
That'd be lovely, that, wouldn't it? It'd be lovely. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a bit hard for us. It's going to be one of them that's going to be a bit of a roadblock for us if we're going to lose those two players for a few weeks. So, we'll have to see what happens.
Gives us a taster of, you imagine, obviously with the World Cup next year, that's going to be insane to try and keep track of. At least, obviously, all football will stop. It'll be like coming out of that.
It's a weird time, isn't it?
Who's tired? Who's
the World Cup before Christmas?
Who goes deep into the tournament? Oh, it's going to be mad.
I've seen a tweet. Just make sure you're not on a red arrow before the World Cup starts. So you'll be looking at a red arrow for a month and a half.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
If you thought a 2-week international break was bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesus, yeah.
We'll wrap things up very, very soon. But I appreciate you two tuning in. Really appreciate it, and everyone else that's tuned in. What else can we talk about? We'll talk about Villa assets. I know this mainly something to talk about just yet, but Steven Gerrard getting off to a very, very good start. I know Brighton didn't have Sanchez, but he's done very, very well. We'll just bring his fixture up as well. I know it's early days. I know a lot of us at the start of the season, we were hyping up people like Danny Ings, Buendia.
Yeah.
You remember him, Buendia? And then it kind of just fizzled out a bit. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on Aston Villa. I know tough fixtures, you can see. Well, City at home, Leicester, Liverpool there as well. That's going to be something. Gerrard returned to Anfield. Then we've got other games like Norwich and Burnley and stuff. So what's your thoughts? Are we just going to sit back and watch them again? And I don't know if you guys have watched any highlights of them against Brighton. How did they look? Or I've not really caught up with.
It's a fantastic Ollie Watkins goal, wasn't it?
I saw that actually. Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I mean, I think all of their defenders are overpriced. They were good value last season. Now they're all just $500,000 too much, I feel. And then there's still nothing that really excites. Leon Bailey potentially, but then you've got probably Cornet at Burnley that's cheaper and going to, by the looks of things, do at least what Bailey does. Danny Ings is just permanently getting injured, but obviously has the potential, as we know, to do really well. Ollie Watkins is a decent shout, to be fair, at 7.3, especially with the lack of good striking options out there at the minute. But I don't know. There's no one really stand out since Grealish left. Maybe Martin. It says a lot, doesn't it? Their top point scorer is Martinez still. And he's had a bad season. He's kept 4 clean sheets out of 12 games.
They've not used that Grealish money wisely, have they? They should have used it better. I feel like if they had a better manager, I feel like Gerrard probably would have used it better. I think he's done well. He did well at Rangers. I felt, honestly, just quickly, when he was linked to Villa, before he completed the move, I thought he could have stayed with Rangers till the end of this season. I felt like he could have got a bit more experience. I can see a few Rangers fans were pissed that he left in the middle of the season, not even halfway through the season. But it's going to be interesting to see how he does it. It's great to see him get off to a great start, 3 points, maybe new tactics, maybe something similar to what he did at Rangers, maybe get that confidence back in those Aston Villa players. And then January window, just around the corner, maybe God knows how much money he'll be given, get some good players in, improve that defense, the attack, maybe get another striker in. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not really hyped myself looking at players. Like if we just go back, we just have a look here, we'll click on a random player.
Bit of John McGinn.
Yeah, I know he was decent, wasn't he? Was it last season? He was
He pops up with he's great technique, and he scored some actually. Like if you look at his highlights back in the day, he scored some absolute. But in the championship, scored an unbelievable volley, one of the best you'll ever see. But there's just not that much there really.
Have a look here. You got Norwich, Burnley, Leeds, Brentford. We just got to give them the eye test and just wait and see. With the pictures like Palace, City, two cities, Leicester and Man City, and then Liverpool. But after that, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I've got Chelsea at home, so it's just about the eye test and just wait and see what they do.
I think the rebirth of Ashley Young.
Can you imagine?
Roll back the years and do what he used to do.
I mean, what is he now? He's a bloody left back, but he's in the defender in the game. Jeez.
Yeah.
I remember the days. Yeah, Martin O'Neill days. He was just absolutely
him. Agbonlahor and Milner.
Yeah, James Milner, even Carew as well.
Carew,
Shane
Given, Larson,
Gareth
Barry. Yeah, that was.
Of course, Gareth Barry. Yeah. I do think, I don't know. Like even if they start doing okay, there's just no one in that team that I think's a standout option other than the strikers, just based on the fact that no strikers are doing well, particularly at the minute. But as as Era said, if Ronaldo goes on this run and starts banging in goals, then that kind of does that. If Harry Kane decides to play football again for Spurs, then again, there's most of your budget gone. So I don't think those two, Watkins and Ings are going to have to do something a bit special to be on our radar, I would say.
What's your thoughts on it? Yeah,
just going back to what you were saying about Grealish. I don't know if you remember when the chairman of Villa, he put out that video explaining why they were selling Grealish, and it always kind of sticks with me. They bought three players. He described it as whatever three traits Grealish had, and they described it as Ings his finishing, Bailey his dribbling, and Wendy his kind of creativity. But I know Grealish hasn't done much with City, but three players that they brought in, fair enough, Ings kind of he had a decent start for the first three game weeks, but apart from that, as we were saying, Wendy and Bailey they've been fairly, they haven't done much at all in the league. But that's the kind of creativeness that they're missing. You'd Grealish and Watkins kind of flying, especially towards the end of the last year, and now that's how kind of bad things are. We're kind of considering them. Looking at that Norwich game away, Burnley at home, I wouldn't even consider them really for them two games, especially with other kind of forwards and midfielders around the price.
It's a shame, really, isn't it? Because if you look at when you name those three players, you're thinking Danny Ings, is a quality player. As Calvin, obviously, like Liverpool signed him, he was, he's clearly got talent. He could do a job, especially for a Villa. No disrespect to Villa, but he's a good striker for where they are. Leon Bailey was tipped to be massive, wasn't he? A few years ago. So he's definitely got it in him. And then Wendy was the player of the season in the championship last year. So they're all kind of, you can see the logic behind it. It just hasn't worked out so far. But it'd be if Steven Gerrard, as you say, can get them going, it could be a good team to watch.
Put it out there as well. Apologies to because I know you were saying about he does play Mendy. Just get it better on the screen.
You're all right. No, I only thought of that because of the FIFA.
You were right. Yeah, I do think of FIFA as well when it comes up. But yeah, so he'll be missing for Chelsea. Huge, being a great keeper for Chelsea. So that's a big blow. Kepa not particularly.
Weren't Liverpool trying to stop Salah from going at one point? Calvin, you'll know more than me. Was that just a rumor, or did that anything?
What, to Chelsea?
No, Salah going to the African Cup of Nations.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. No, they were going to stop him. They tried to stop him with this. When we had an international break about a month or two ago, that was clashing with the league season.
Yeah,
they stopped him. I think they stopped him for that. Yeah, they was trying to stop him for that as well. So I think, and they did want to stop him. They were stopping him for the AFCON as well. So I don't think that's going to go through. I think he is going to go through with that as well. Yeah.
You never know, mate. I just saw a thing popped up on my phone earlier. Another breaking news: COVID travel restrictions for 6 African countries. So you never know. Might not be able to go.
wasn't there something wrong with the infrastructure in Cameroon as well? They were waiting on that. Was there stadiums still being built or something as well? Or
Would
that
I?
was like a month or
Sounds
two
about
ago.
right. doesn't it? Whenever there's a tournament, no, like you always get it, don't you? About a month before it's going to start, the Sun newspaper always
Yeah.
takes a load of photos, whether it's Russia, whether it's like South Africa, whether it's anywhere. It's like the standard thing, and then miraculously, the day of the tournament starts, and they manage to get there in the end normally, don't they? But yeah, you never know. That could be the only thing that could save Liverpool's season, Calvin, is some COVID restrictions.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll wrap it up just with one more, just to finish it off from both you. FPL captaincy, but you can't pick Salah. Who would you pick this game? We will get the fixtures. On here.
The fixtures there.
And then what do you guys think? Anyone but Salah. If you had to pick, there we go. Who do you have to pick out of these fixtures on the screen? Who would you go for if you can't pick Salah?
Do you want to go first there, Nick?
Who's your juicy pick?
My juicy pick would be.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I feel like Mane against his old team because I've got him, and I just feel like it would either. I know it's a bit of a cop out because it's still Liverpool, but Trent or Mane. But I do feel like Reece James could do really well against Man United. Have I been vague enough for you?
Just before we get to he has a pick as well. Being a Man United fan, how do you think they'll do against Chelsea, mate? You know, Chibble. How do you think you can score? Please say yes.
Score, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3-1 or if Chelsea would get a comfortable, 2-0 win. No, I can't see. I'd be very surprised if we got a win. Never mind a draw, or a draw. Never mind a win. But no, the way Chelsea perform at the moment, we got lucky midweek as well. Kind of a mistake in the defence for that Ronaldo chip, and then it kind of was just a breakaway goal then for a 2-0 away win. But just I don't know. No, just Chelsea they're far too strong at the moment.
And who would your differential captain pick be?
I was going to say Nick as well. I was going to say Trent, but trying to stay away from Liverpool. Jimenez points out to me as well, but if I'm captain a player, I want him in my head thinking that he'll at least get 2 returns, and Jimenez only gets the kind of 1 goal and kind of bonus points. But looking at them fixtures, I'd probably take a punt on Son. I know they lost tonight. Was it Murrah, whoever bet them 2-1?
Yeah, they're losing to a lot of these unknown teams. That's typical Spurs.
They're a big team then.
Massive.
I mean, definitely. We were saying earlier with the Burnley, with the suspensions they've got. The thing is, if you're gonna have Kane, you've got to if you're gonna spend £12 million on a player. And you're not going to captain Salah. Why have you got him in your team if you're not going to captain him against a Burnley team that have their captain and best defender missing? But personally, obviously, I got rid of Son this week, so I hope they don't do well.
I brought in Son last week, so I'm sorry, Nick. I'll be hoping for a return.
It's all right. You'll be tweeting me if when Son taps in that hat trick.
Yeah.
Right, we'll wrap things up now, guys. But I hope everyone's enjoyed this stream. If you have, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and but yeah, I want to thank my guests, Nick and
thanks for having us, mate.
Coming on. Do you want to let us guys know, let everyone out there know, Nick? We'll start with you, where we can find you.
That's on FPL Juice on YouTube. We missed it this week because our producer was ill, but hopefully we'll be back next week. And FPL Juice on Twitter as well. So come and find us.
What about you, mate? Where can we find you?
Lovely stuff. FPL Era on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. So fire away any of those you want.
Cool. Right, we'll wrap things up. Thanks, guys, tuning in. I've been the FPL Penguin, and these have been my amazing guests. Once again, another guest stream. Hopefully tomorrow, I might have Ash, Nick's partner in crime.
Mate, how do you keep this up? You're full time. You're a beast, mate.
Yeah, get that content up. Hey, it's going to be something in Christmas period.
Yeah.
What EA was saying, getting all that content up.
I struggle to do one a week.
I think the laptop's going to explode if I put that much content up. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and see you tomorrow, maybe.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks, boys.